So what can we say? We're out here on the bike and it's doing its thing. Let's see, initial impressions. Well, it's fun. It's a light-spirited little thing. It probably feels lighter to me just because of the last few bikes I've been riding. The last dual sport bike I had, the dirt bike I had that was lighter, this was in my WR. And honestly, that thing off-road, you were just trying to meter the power. That was always such a big concern there. Now this engine's plenty off-road. It seems fine. I wouldn't mind if it had a little more of a hit initially. It does have good torque. It feels actually pretty grunty, but... Ooh, hot. Honda decided not to put even one of those dinky skid plates that you're gonna just replace anyway. I go in one ride, I scratched the frame. I don't even think I bottomed out on anything. Probably just something kicked off the tire and hit this. You're probably wondering how many miles I have on the bike. Hang on. 53 miles. I'm not gonna tell anyone how to do anything. Also, kind of annoying thing here is, look at this. This engine doesn't use like an O-ring, it actually uses a small gasket. Just kind of an annoying way to do it. A gasket probably could be reused, but I just went ahead and bought 3 filters and 3 gaskets before the bike ever showed up. If you put an O-ring in here instead, I would have gone and bought the O-ring immediately. It doesn't mean I would have had to use it every time. I would have had it on standby for when I decided, oh, it's a little wore out, because an O-ring is gonna be fine for a while. I will say, once past break-in, this engine requires an oil change every 8,000 miles. There's no way I'm gonna wait that long, but even if I halved it, probably won't do 4,000 miles in a year, so I'll probably just change the oil like every winter, which is pretty cool. Also, it looks like every one of these bolts, they're all the same size. Thanks for doing that. 4, 3, 2, 1, right between the lines. I'm not a big fan of these closed covers like this on anything that's meant to go off-roading, mainly because you do go off-roading, things just get trapped up in there. There's that little, I think I'm gonna try to get an open cover for it. Now, one thing I've heard said a lot about this bike is that the suspension is too soft. Initially, their shock you'll notice right away, and the shock is definitely probably the biggest problem. It really just sacks out, it's undersprung, underdamped, and that's the thing too, is it's so squatted out that when you actually do hit something, it sends you up. The preload is set like basically bottomed out. If you go to a professional suspension shop, they do the same thing. The forks initially don't feel as bad, and as long as you're not moving real quick, they're actually seem fine. But if you start kind of going quick or going over stuff, yeah, the front's fairly soft and under dampened as well, undersprung. We'll have to address that. We do have already somebody on board for that. Now, I'm not real crazy about this whole tail light setup either. And it's not just as simple as replacing it. You see this like plastic that goes around it right here? I can't just take this off because this actually keeps junk from going to the air box. Take off this tail light, I'm gonna be left with this weird housing. We'll figure something out. Do I keep the toolbox or do I get rid of it? It looks kind of dorky. It is convenient though. The kickstand is way too leany. Thanks to this Miller light can down here, it's not falling over right now. Did you know this thing only has one radiator and this side is just, you know, it's got the overflow and the horn and the ABS pump is back here. We're gonna get rid of that. This used to bother me when bikes did that. Like the WR250s have a similar setup. And it's like, you got like a radiator shroud fin for looks, but then again, what are you gonna do, make the bike unsymmetrical? That would look super weird. So it's kind of like having a fake hood scoop, but I get it. Now, I guess the air box is behind this cover. I wish it was a toolless way to get to it. The last few bikes I've had, I've actually owned multiple air filters for, and you keep one clean, one ready to go kind of system. When I pre-ordered this thing, they were still showing that it came with the, what looks like the CRF300L headlight. It is slightly different. Looking at it in pictures, I wasn't super crazy about it. Looking at it in person, I don't hate it. I still don't love the fact that it's a, you know, halogen bulb in there. I could always throw an LED in this thing, or I could do something crazy and build some kind of plate in here and put a Baja like Squadron in there. I kind of want to do that. I don't know, what do y'all think? Look at this bike's new enough, I'm literally cleaning under the fender. Wow. Anyone who says that this seat is like sitting on a 2x4 has never sat on a WR450 or XR650R, because this seat is actually great. I look how wide that is. That's amazing. I really just wish it was a little taller. I feel like this red just doesn't hold up. Look at this tiny little intake here that all the air has to come in through. I feel like this should not only be toolless, but look, they've put like these sort of self-tapping plastic screws in, and I'll turn them in backwards and find the previous threads. I'm not a huge fan of that. Come on, There we go. It's a tiny little thing. Backfire screen. I guarantee people go, take that off, you'll gain some power. Yeah, but it's a backfire screen. It actually is there for a reason. I added almost 2 turns on that rear preload, which is a lot, but that spring is still gonna be not the right spring weight. It's kind of doing that pogoing thing when I was hitting a good bump, which is a good sign of, you know, not enough rebound dampening. Cranking up the spring only complicates that more. Probably best wait till we get the correct spring in it. I think I'm gonna raise the bars up a little bit. I'm not a big fan of these stock grips, but that's just how bikes come. That's not a big deal. But otherwise, yeah, it's a dual sport. It does dual sport things. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun to put the motard wheels on it. That slipper clutch, actually, you can feel it working when you throw it down a few gears real quick on the street. So that's been super fun. I'm gonna keep riding. Yeah, look what I got. You see him? What you trying to do? Come on. Come on. Quit moving together. He came back. All right, well, you're just gonna stick with me, I guess. Oh, ABS. Come on, ABS, let me do it. Forgot. Every time. Whew. I'm gonna die going down some little hills. I forget to turn the ABS off. This is gonna be how I die. Yeah. Right, though, it's Thank you, engineers, for how you've set that up. Only if I can eat some of it. I'm a man.